Okay, friends, thank you for coming. Just before I start on this one, if I may add to what Gun said, he asked you to think about it. It's also a good idea for each one of you to write a paragraph or two for yourself. What do you mean when you say saya anak bangsa Malaysia? That would be good for us, good for documentation later. Yeah. Okay, this is the focus is on ISA. I call it the essential story. I was a teacher before, so please forgive me if I drag a bit and I need your patience. This is a history lesson, and I know a lot of people don't like history, but you need to know this history if you want to find your course. Okay? So please bear with me 15 or 20 minutes. Don't mind? Okay, there are two parts to this presentation, but today I'm only going to do part one. Otherwise, too heavy, you all will sleep. Okay? It's just the what, the why, and the when of ISA. Okay? Alright, so part one, part two, we will do next week. Okay. The Internal Security Act or Act 82, you want to come closer, you can see. Was 1st August 1960 in West Malaysia, because West Malaya, of course East Malaysia on 16th September. Basically, is to provide for the internal security, preventive detention, prevention of subversion, suppression of organized violence. Now, if you see this carefully, this is 1960. Those of us who are old enough to know what was happening in 1960. Between 1948 and 1960, we had an emergency. That is how we started having IC. You know, those days the IC was a piece of paper only, you know, before it became plastic and mica. Right? The whole thing was there was a communist insurgency, and therefore the British, before we became independent, already had this emergency regulation in force. And when we became independent in 1957, they had to have this Internal Security Act to continue to fight what they thought is the communist insurrection. Okay, this is the little bit of heavy part, but it's the important part. If you get hold of the act, and may I suggest, since you all are fighting against ISA, all of you please go to the mama shop and buy the Internal Security Act. I think it's about 8 or 10 dollars. It's important to know the provisions. Okay? But basically, it says that action will be taken against a group of organized people who cause fear among citizens through organized violence. Now you can see all this thing is basically against a group of people who were then known as the communist terrorists, cities for short, communist terrorists, and to prevent them from an armed revolution in the country and taking over the country. Okay? And this preamble is important because later on you know why I tell you this preamble is important. Okay, the Act has got 5 main areas. One, very clearly, seriously. I think that's Aloysius. Okay, you can see there are 5 things there. Prohibition of organizations or associations of a political or quasi-military character. Communist Party, basically, he was to control the Communist Party. Powers of preventive detention, special powers related to subversive communications, control of entertainments and exhibition also. Okay, so now you look at it, this is 1960, 49 years later, not just tuck up and put in something. Or if you carry in your computer or you have at home, let's say some material from Al-Qaeda, you can also be negative. Alright? So this is the very wide powers of this ISA. Okay, so in a nutshell, what is ISA is a preventive detention law, and most important, any person may be detained by the police up to 60 days without trial. 60 hari, 2 bulan. They come and take you Nanda tomorrow, and we don't know where they take it. For 60 days, they don't have to tell you where they are keeping it. You can go and search. Okay? But the law allows them to do that because they suspect, example only Nanda, that you are doing something prejudicial to them. And you can apply to all of us here in this place, one brothers. Okay. Then after 60 days, the minister can decide to extend it for 2 years. For 2 years, and they can carry on doing that. That is why we still have people in ISA who have been there for 7, 8, 9 years or more. Every 2 years, Lanchun, minister just signed. Okay? Okay, as you say, why did it become law? Before this, the British had the emergency regulations ordinance to cover. When they became independent, they were going to repeal this emergency ordinance on 21st July 1960. So on 1st August 1960, the ISA came into force. Of course, it was debated in Parliament for 2 days, and that is what I am going to show you. When it was debated in Parliament, now this is 1960. August 1957 we became independent. 1959 there was a general election, as usual, because after independence the alliance government won by a big majority, but there was still some opposition people in there. They were very good parliamentarians. You will know why. I'll tell you why they were very good parliamentarians, because they fought even then in 1960 while it was debated in Parliament. The bill was put for reading. They all fought for it, against it. Okay, but of course it became an act because of the majority in the Parliament. Okay, next. Okay, this is what Tun Razak website. I'll give you a minute to read it because it's a bit long, but I have to give you the full version, otherwise I won't be giving you the correct story. This is what Tun Razak who tabled the bill on 21st June 1956. The Honorable Prime Minister and other members of government, including myself, have made it quite clear on a number of occasions that because the emergency is to be declared at an end, the government does not intend to relax its vigilance against the evil enemy. In their mind, the evil enemy, communists, okay, who still remains as a threat on our border. Which border? Which border? Southern Thailand, Sarawak, okay, who is now attempting by subversion to succeed where he has failed by force of arms. Subversion meaning they infiltrate. Just like, if somebody was going to write a history of anti-ISA movement 100 years from now, they say 30 subversives actually gathered in this old word brothers showroom, and they started a revolution. That's how it is, okay? That's what subversion is.